Good evening. Welcome to the Livonia Public Schools Board of Education regular meeting of March 23rd, 2026. Mrs. Acosta, will you please take the roll?
Yes. Mrs. Bradford?
Here.
Mrs. Jarvis?
Here.
Mr. Johnson?
Here.
Mr. McFarland?
Here.
Mrs. Acosta is here. Mrs. Frank is absent. President Burton?
Here, and we have a quorum. Mrs. Acosta, will you please help us with the Pledge of Allegiance this evening?
I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We welcome everyone who's here with us this evening. Sometimes we have a full room, sometimes we have a very quiet, empty room, and this is much more fun.
Absolutely.
We have some very exciting things to celebrate this evening, and lucky for you guys, they're first on the agenda for most of you folks. So we're going to go ahead and get started with all the fun of the evening. This evening's meeting is a regular meeting, or what some folks refer to as a voting meeting. Usually at the beginning of these meetings, we have our celebratory activities, which I would venture to say all of you are here for, or the vast majority anyway. We do have a lot of things to celebrate this evening. The items that we will be voting on as our evening progresses are items that you may not hear as much discussion about because we have study sessions and committee of the whole meetings prior to voting meetings. So if you're looking for more detail and questions and answers and comments and so forth on a lot of the nitty-gritty of what we vote on, I do suggest that you either attend or watch the videos of our committee of the whole meetings. Those typically take place 1 week prior to our voting meetings. They can always be found on our website. If you'd like to go back and look at any previous meetings, they can be found on our website, and that's livoniapublicschools.org. If you hover over the board tab, you can drop down to board meeting information, and you can find both agendas for tonight's meeting and videos of previous meetings. If you are here in person tonight and you'd like a copy of our agenda, they are out the door to my left and just around the corner on a table, and hopefully we'll have all of your items early on the agenda for you this evening. One thing that we stress very highly in Livonia Public Schools is respect. It's a character trait that we teach our students at all levels of education, and it is one that this board holds to firmly. You have our word that we will treat one another and everyone who comes before this board with respect this evening, and we ask that you do the same for all who are present, and we thank you in advance. We're going to have several, as we said, celebratory items on our agenda. We're also going to take a break right after item 3C so that we can all congratulate our honorees this evening, and then we'll continue on with the rest of our meeting. If you are wishing to take photos of any of the honorees this evening, please do feel free to move around the room and get a better angle of the folks at the podium as they're being honored. We're going to get to the next item on our agenda, which is item 3, communications. And may I have a resolution for item 3A, Read Across America resolution?
President Burton.
Mr. McFarland,
I'm not seeing my...
give us a moment here.
Here we are. Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District adopt the attached resolution in recognition of Read Across America during the month of March 2026.
Support.
We have a motion by Mr. McFarland, supported by Mrs. Jarvis, and I'll turn it over to Mrs. Jenkins.
Thank you. Good evening, President Burton, members of the board, Superintendent Elquist. Guess what? It's March Madness. That's because it's March's Reading Month, and no one celebrates the joy of reading like we do in Livonia Public Schools. From mystery readers and school-wide events such as read-ins, family activities, author visits, book fairs, and more, it's a time when books really come to life in our classrooms and our schools. Pages are turning and minds are growing through the power of reading. One of the highlights each March is that we invite school board members. Many of you have participated. Staff members, Superintendent Oquist has been busy as well. Parents and community leaders serving as guest readers or mystery readers in our classrooms. Many of you have done this fun activity, and I know it's so much fun. I had the privilege of reading some very special stories to students in Miss Dunn's fifth grade class at Cooper Upper Elementary. This was a bit unusual because I brought along, not a book from a library or the book fair, I brought along my little books that I wrote when I was a fifth grade student at Cooper, it was just called Cooper Elementary then. Back then, this was the old Cooper on the other side of the street from the current Cooper Upper Elementary. So it was kind of a full circle moment, and yeah, these books were published by our librarian, Mrs. Goodwin. I can still see her face in my mind at Cooper. And she took great care in assembling these books with cardboard, contact paper that you would line a shelf with. In her perfect handwriting, she wrote an index of the stories contained in this particular book that I wrote. So I thought it would be fun to bring these stories to current fifth grade students at Cooper. Fast forward some 4 decades, this one was published in 1981, and I still enjoy sharing them with the kids. And you know, that's just one story out of many, once upon a time in LPS, that makes me smile and continues to bring joy to me as an adult. There's nothing better than celebrating reading, especially during the month of Dr. Seuss's birthday. As we do each year, we join districts throughout the nation in recognizing March 2nd, 2026 as Read Across America Day, as declared by the National Education Association. At this time, I'd like to invite Trustee Dave McFarland to join me at the podium to read into the record a special resolution that we've prepared in honor of Read Across America Day. And accepting the resolution this evening, I'm happy to welcome Livonia Education Association Vice President Megan Brisley. Come on up, Megan, make that long trek to the podium.
Great shirt.
Thought it was fitting for
Yes, perfect. There you are. Here's the fancy copy.
Yeah, one of the highlights of my month was reading to my daughter's preschool class at the LECC, so it's truly a great tradition. So if I may, whereas citizens of the Livonia Public Schools School District stand firmly committed to promoting reading as a catalyst for our students' future academic success, their preparation for America's jobs of the future, and their ability to compete in a global economy, and whereas Read Across America, a national celebration of Dr. Seuss's 122nd birthday on March 2nd, 2026, is sponsored by the National Education Association and supported by the Livonia Education Association, and promotes reading and adult involvement in the education of our community students. And whereas motivating children to read is an important factor in student achievement and creating lifelong successful readers. And whereas research has shown children who are motivated to spend more time reading are more successful in their studies. Now therefore be it resolved that the trustees of the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District call upon all citizens to assure that every child is reading together with a caring adult throughout the month of March, designated as March is Reading Month. And be it further resolved that this body recommits to our community to engage in programs and activities to make America's children the best readers in the world.
Excellent.
There you are.
Thank you so much.
Very welcome.
Thank you. As Mrs. Jenkins highlighted, there's so many beloved activities and events that happen throughout the month of March, and I'm honored to accept this resolution in celebration of March's Reading Month. Thank you very much.
Thank you. March's Reading Month is really fun. If you have the opportunity, if you're invited to read in one of the schools, take it. Even if you've not had someone reach out to you, if you'd like to do that, by all means, contact the secretary at one of our schools. They're always looking for guest readers, especially during the month of March, and it is really a lot of fun. I've told kiddos that my 2 favorite things as a board member are to attend graduations, which are just fabulous, and to participate in March's Reading Month. It's a lot of fun. The next item on our agenda is item 3B, recognition of Oh, I'm sorry. We have to vote, don't we? Sorry, getting ahead of myself. We have a motion on the table sorry, hang on. I got ahead of myself here. We have a motion on the table for Read Across America resolution. Motion by Dave McFarland, supported by Liz Jarvis. And Mrs. Costa, will you please take the roll?
Mr. McFarland,
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis,
Yes.
Mrs. Bradford,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes, President Burton.
Yes, and that motion passes. Congratulations, and thank you again to everyone who's participated in March's Reading Month. Now we'll go on to the next item on the agenda. Item 3B is the recognition of Franklin JV POM State Championship. May I have a motion, please?
President Burton.
Mrs. Bradford.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District adopt the attached resolution recognizing Franklin High School's junior varsity pom-pom team for capturing the Mid-American Pom-Pom State Championship for Class A Division I.
Support.
We have a motion by Karen Bradford, supported by Mark Johnson. And we'll hear from Mrs. Jenkins.
Thank you, President Burton. Our next point of pride is maybe a little obvious. We've got a ton of Palmers here in the room. We are recognizing the Franklin High School JV Pom-Pom team, which kept the tradition going by being crowned state champions again this year. The JV Pom team has won the state championship in 4 out of the last 5 years. So they are really on the roll. Also, varsity has been very successful at states, and hopefully next year we can have a dual recognition of varsity and JV here to celebrate. It's so apparent that the pom-pom program at Franklin is like a family. In fact, we have several, it looks like the entire squad, varsity Pommers are here to support and recognize their JV counterparts this evening. So thank you so much for being here to support the JV team. The JV team consists of the following members, and if you could just raise your hand when I call your name. Claire Beckner, who is a junior. There you are. Dakota Chow, who is a freshman. Jill Clark, who is a sophomore. Jocelyn Hall, a freshman. Maddie McBride, who is a sophomore. Lily Scruggs, a freshman. They're very giggly.
It's a fun night.
I love it. I love it. Clara Shaw, who is a sophomore. Izzy Ward, also a sophomore. And Maya Wassner, a freshman. All right. The team is coached by Hannah Sexton and Haley Gorman, and overseen by varsity coach Haley Petrovich. There are 2 other varsity coaches within the program, Kayla Petrovich and Alyssa Grease. And the cool thing is that all 5 coaches are proud Franklin alumni. So I love that. I am also a Franklin alumni, so go Patriots. Together, they have worked hard throughout the season, perfecting their routines, and quite frankly, blowing the competition away at the Mid-American Pom-Pom State Championship last month at Eastern Michigan University. We have additional details about their season in a special resolution that we've prepared. And I'd like to invite Trustee Karen Bradford to join us at the podium to read the resolution we've prepared. There's the fancy.
Am I reading off the fan?
This is easier to read. It's non-calligraphy.
Love it. Thank
All right, and let's have our coaches join us too. Come on up. Come on.
People with me. Welcome.
Thank you.
All right. Is everybody up here? No, I don't think so. Here they come. Okay. All right. Oh, I'll give this to you. We have it. You're welcome. All right, I'm reading it in. Livonia Public Schools Board of Education resolution. Whereas the trustees of the Livonia Public Schools Board of Education are desirous of publicly recognizing the outstanding accomplishments of students who distinguish themselves during the pursuit of their public education in the school district. And whereas the Franklin High School junior varsity pom-pom team has distinguished itself by achieving the 2026 Mid-American Pom-Pom Division I State Championship title at Eastern Michigan University on February 17, 2026. And whereas this adds to the outstanding accomplishments the team achieved during its 2025-2026 season, including winning the Grand Champs Trophy during summer camp at Alma College and placing third in the large JV high kick division at the Mid-American Pom-Pom High Kick Championship in November. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the trustees of the Board of Education do hereby commend and congratulate the Franklin High School JV Pom-Pom team for its outstanding accomplishments and wish all of the team members well in their future endeavors as they apply the discipline and perseverance needed to excel in sports to all areas of their lives. Congratulations.
Thank you, Trustee Bradford. We also have prepared, oh, don't go away. We've also prepared a special certificate, which reads Livonia Public Schools Certificate of Achievement, Mid-American Pom-Pom, Class A, Division I, State Champions, Franklin High School JV Pom-Pom, honored by the Board of Education for Athletic Achievement, dated March 23rd, 2026, and signed by Superintendent Oquist and Board President Colleen Burton. I owe you an
And would any of our coaches like to share a few words?
I would love to.
Yeah.
Great.
So this is Haley Petrovich.
Hello, Haley, welcome.
Hi, thank you. So my name is Haley Petrovich, and I'm the head coach of the varsity pom team at Franklin High School. I have several thank yous to say tonight on behalf of our entire program as we gather to celebrate our JV D1 state champs. I want to start first and foremost with Superintendent Oquist, President Burton, Mrs. Stacy Jenkins for inviting us out tonight, and the entire board. The outpouring of support from our Livonia community has meant so much to us, and to be honored by the people who make it all happen truly means the world. So thank you for your time tonight. I also want to thank our Franklin family, starting with our administrators from Franklin. To have Mr. Pacey and Mr. DePonio and Mr. Hall be there at the state championship as the girls were walking out onto the floor was a truly indescribable feeling, and it's a huge testament to the leadership that we have at Franklin. I want to give Mr. Hall back there a huge shout out for instilling what it means to be Franklin made into not only our program but into the entire Franklin athletics. The Franklin Maine mindset has become such a huge part of who we are and has taught these girls a type of resilience that will go far with them beyond just being a high school athlete. So, Mr. Hall, I really do appreciate that, and I appreciate everyone who came out from Franklin tonight. I want to shout out my fellow coaches and, like we said, fellow Franklin alum, Kayla, Alyssa, Hannah, and Haley. They also embody what it means to be Franklin made every single day for these girls, so I truly appreciate them. Hannah and Haley are our JV coaches. They have done a phenomenal job with this group. If you could see where they started from day one to now, it's the type of growth that you have to see to believe, as the girls, they can attest to it. It's that type of growth that is like magic. So it's absolutely been wonderful to watch these two pour into our JV program, pour into our younger Pommers, and get them ready for the next level. So thank you, Hannah and Haley, for being such amazing role models and coaches for our girls. I want to shout out our lovely parent group. As you can see, they show up and show out everywhere we go. Yes, thank you, parents. Our season would not be possible without each of them. It takes a village to do what we do, and we know that, so we don't take their support for granted at all. And that leads me to these 9 girls who the night is all about, our JV state champs. Like I said, their growth this season has been absolutely insane to watch. And so, girls, we are so very proud of the way you represent Franklin, not only on the floor, but also in the classroom. They're amazing athletes and kids all around, and so we couldn't be more thankful to work with a group like them. And all in all, I just want to say a huge thank you again to everyone in this room who came out tonight. Every single person in this room has had an impact on our program and its success. So we strive to make LPS proud and make our community proud. We hope we've done that. We hope we can continue to do that. So thank you all so much, and I'll leave you with one more big Go Patriots.
Oh, yeah.
Very good. Are there comments or questions from the board members or superintendent? Mr. McFarland?
Yeah, I just want to congratulate all you ladies on a tremendous season. You've reached the pinnacle of your athletic career to this point, and I don't think I have to challenge you, but I do. Continue it on. Let's see what you can do on varsity. And great work. You will never forget this, and you'll never forget each other. And congratulations on the hard work and success.
Mrs. Jarvis?
Thank you. Congratulations, young ladies. What a tremendous job you've done. But I also wanted to say, Ms. Petrovich, you're incredibly well-spoken. Obviously, you're a very good leader and an inspiration to this team. And, a team is as good as their leaders. So thank you to all of the coaches. Very impressed with you coming back home and bringing your leadership abilities to create such a marvelous team.
Mrs. Bradford?
I echo those sentiments. Congratulations. This is your day. This is your time. Enjoy it so, so much. And I know, I cannot imagine the amount of hours, and I guess I do know the amount of hours that you must put in every day to get your routine just right. And to be able to go ahead at a state championship and make that happen is really short of amazing. It takes a lot of timing, it takes a lot of discipline and control, and I just share in your happiness. So congratulations so much, and good luck for you for next year.
Any other comments from Mrs. Oquist?
Thank you so much. We are so excited to have you guys here. Let's have them stand up, right, so they can be seen.
Absolutely.
Come on, ladies. We just love our Patriots so much, and you make us so proud. You can sit down. You don't have to stand the whole time I'm speaking. We are so proud of you. Your year is so long, right? It starts in May with tryouts. It goes to prepping for camp in the summer. I know camp is grueling, right? And you're there and you're trying to learn a new routine every day. And then you're coming back and you're starting fall season, right? You're doing the halftime shows, which just wow everybody. I love watching you at every home game when I'm at your school, and just such a delight to see you guys working alongside your varsity colleagues. And then you move right into competition season, right? And here come regionals, and we passed high kick, regional, states, and then it starts all over again. So you get a tiny little break right now, so enjoy some of that, and really bask in what it means to be a state champion. This doesn't happen very often, but I have to say, it happens more than once at Franklin. So we are so proud of you, and we are proud of each of you. We're proud of your varsity teammates. We loved having you guys here a couple of years ago, and I have a feeling this isn't going to be the only time we see you being recognized as state champs. Haley, thanks so much for sharing on behalf of the coaches. If you don't know, we are not only lucky enough to have Haley as our head coach for Franklin Varsity Pom, but she's also one of our educators at Franklin. And so we absolutely love having her not only teaching in our girls in Pom, but in the classroom. We are so fortunate to have this team of coaches because they're committed to each other and they are committed to these girls. Dusty, we're so proud of every one of our teams at Franklin. You are a huge part of that. You work tirelessly, and I know your support for them and for all of our teams means just the world. And please pass that along to our entire admin team at Franklin. And to all the Pom parents out there, I was a Pom mom from 3rd grade till 12th grade for my daughter, so I get it. Every French braid, every toe point, every camp, there was always so much to do, and you are a really important part of keeping our young ladies motivated and encouraged, because there can be some tough days. It's a physically demanding sport, it takes a lot of effort and it takes a lot of repetitive practice, grit, and resilience. So that's why we're so, so proud of you. So congratulations. Enjoy every minute of it. You're welcome.
And I'll just close it out with saying you know who you're talking to when you say, "Oh my gosh, we're on the road to states. We just made it through regionals. We're at semis. We're going to the states now." And some folks will say, "Oh, that's nice." And they have no idea. It's enormous. It does not happen very often, but we are so proud of you and we're so very excited for you. So many of us have gone down similar roads with our kids in various sports through Livonia Public Schools, and we're just so excited. We share in your joy. So congratulations. Soak it all in. We have a motion for recognition of Franklin JV Pom-Pom State Championship. Motion by Mrs. Bradford, supported by Mr. Johnson and Mrs. Acosta. Would you please take the roll?
Mrs. Bradford,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis,
Yes.
Mr. McFarland.
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Burton.
Yes, and that motion passes. Congratulations again, ladies. We are going to move on to the district update from the superintendent, and I'm going to ask my board's permission on this. I'd like to move our break to right after audience communications because I do have 3 folks who wish to approach the board for audience communications, but they are all pertaining to the Youth Summit, which I think is of great interest to all folks who are here this evening. So
that'd be great if we had
we'll move our
have the
break
group
to
here.
right after the district update from the or it's after audience communications rather. So it'll just be a few more minutes for everyone to hang around before you get to go home and relax for your evening. Assuming you don't want to hang around and watch us vote on 17 things, which is really exciting. Right now, we'll move on to item 3C, the district update from the superintendent. Mrs. Opus.
All right, thanks so much, President Burton, and we're going to have it up on the screen here so we can follow along. We always start out kicking off talking about learning and growing, and so here we have some of our 8th grade students from Frost in their U.S. history class using VR, virtual reality, to explore the Oregon Trail. They were in Miss Blowett's class. Miss Blowett moved over from Holmes Middle School this year, and so it's her first year at Frost. And what a cool opportunity for our students to explore these exciting topics, but in a new way. And we'll hop over to 1st grade at Roosevelt. We had a lot of fun in the elementary schools, not just with March's Reading Month, but I happened to be in a few schools on St. Patrick's Day, and I will tell you what, there are some very cool leprechaun traps. And this happened to be Mrs. Curry's 4th graders building traps for those silly leprechauns. But there were lots of tricks happening throughout our schools, and the kiddos were so excited. In fact, I had some 1st grade friends at Hayes even share their Lucky Charms with me, and that might be my favorite cereal. So that was pretty exciting. So we'll move on. We had some of our MBA students at the Livonia Career Technical Center. They go through a certification process, as you know, as our board knows and our cabinet team knows. This has really been a really big focus at LCTC in the past 2 years, is that certification that our students can leave with and enter right into the world of work in lots of different areas, medical, auto, skilled trades. But this happens to be the Microsoft Office Specialist Certification in PowerPoint. So it is a 38-part exam with different questions. There's a time limit of 50 minutes, so they have to really move right along. The entire class achieved a 95% passage rate for the certification. And a special congratulations to Amelia Harris. She earned a perfect score of 100% in that 50-minute time frame. So a huge kudos to our students there. And their hard work really is paying off. We have literally hundreds of students leaving with different certification at the end of this school year, ready to go to work at Trinity Health, ready to go to work in the skilled trades, and moving right out into their career path. So speaking of our awesome LCTC students, this was the auto tech class, the auto 2, which would be second year, correct? Second year, second semester, second year, Mr. E2, thank you. So talk about a real-world job. They were doing a full engine replacement. So we all know what it's like to have our cars go down for the count. And so this is really quite an involved process, a lot of problem solving, a lot of precision. And we are so proud of that next level student who is able to work in this arena. And it really is a high demand area, not just for auto shops, but for car dealerships, even for school districts like ours. So some adorable pictures here from March's Reading Month. And I will tell you, I had a chance to see that igloo in person, the one on the right. That is about 3 million milk gallons. And it took them a really long time to put that together. So that's in Miss Weekly's Young Fives room at Rosedale. And so they're all attached to one another, and it goes quite deep. And it is truly a magical place to read. But I think they are going to try to continue to find uses throughout the year, because it took quite a while for folks to put that together, and a lot of donated milk gallons. But most of all, we love seeing our kids with those smiles, finding new books to read, and having that time to just cozy up with a good book and a friend. There really is nothing better. So whether it's a tent, a cave, or an igloo, reading is a great time. So we had mystery readers throughout the district, and so sometimes a mystery reader is a parent of a child in the classroom, which is always really, really cool. Here we had some Roosevelt parents who came in to read to students. I always say that it's a little iffy when you say a mystery reader. I remember after I left Hoover as principal and came to central office, I went back, and the parent who was walking me down the hallway said, "The kids are so excited. They don't know who's coming." And I said, "Oh, I'm so excited to see them. Who do they think is coming?" Remember, this was a lot of years ago because I'm old. And they said, "President Obama or Justin Bieber?" Oh my! And I said, "Can I tell you how disappointed they're going to be when it's me that walks in?" But it's great to have mystery readers, and there is, pardon?
Clifford, that's another one.
Oh yeah, Clifford. Well, that would have been big competition too. Either way, I wasn't looking good. But the cool thing about having your parent there, and Dave, you just talked about going to Rosie's classroom and reading. I mean, there's nothing like watching your child watch you come in and be that mystery reader. So thanks to all the parents who have come out and done that. And we have Mr. McFarland right there with his little one. And so we have Mr. Green on the right in his daughter's classroom, reading a wonderful story. I can't tell who's in the middle. Is that Mrs. Jenkins? Is that when you read your book to your Cooper friends? I love that. Mrs. Jenkins, you're so young looking, you fit right in with the kiddos there. We'll move on. We have some other opportunities for guest reading, and what a great month it has been. Mrs. Bradford, is that you?
Yeah.
All right. And Mrs. Burton on the right? Okay, wonderful. And another picture of Mr. Green there on the left, and I think that's me getting lots of hugs from our firsties at Hayes. That was a ton of fun. So we had our PTA leadership at Buchanan. They, as has happened at many schools, they've spent a lot of time setting up the book fair. And I'll tell you what, that's just one of those memories from elementary school, is having the book fair in your library and getting a chance to go down there and find a book that really piques your interest. This was something really cool, and I really want to shout out to Anna McGuire, who's the media specialist at Emerson. She went out and had a mission to get books donated for the students at Emerson. Last year she did this, and each student was able to take home one book that was donated to the library. She and her dad started on this quest at the beginning of the summer. They amassed enough books to have each Emerson student be able to take home 6 books of their choice at no cost.
Wow.
And so I really want to thank Mrs. McGuire for really just her unwavering passion. And she's here. Oh, Mrs. McGuire, you're here. Well, that's exciting. I didn't know that. Well, that's fortuitous. That's great. We're so happy you're here. What an undertaking to really amass that kind of collection and to see that kind of interest from the middle school student, right? To have that desire to read, and you are a big part of instilling that in them. So thank you for all you did. And I heard your dad went on the quest to pick up a number of those donations as well. So thank you to him. But that's the kind of thing that makes a difference. And when students get to pick out their own, that's even better. So thank you for all you did to make that happen. I'm glad you're here. Unified basketball, if you haven't had a chance, we've shared with you just the pure joy of our unified athletics, where we have our students with special needs paired with their peers, their gen ed peers. Lots of great competition at Frost, including last week a parent student unified game as well. So you'll see a couple pictures here from Frost, and then next is from Johnson Upper Elementary. Also had a chance to participate with unified basketball. You may or may not know, we also have unified cheer, unified bocce, and unified soccer. Yep, thank you. All right, so a few kudos and celebrations. We're gonna go right through these. We are so excited next month to have another set of hockey, or not a set of state champs. Our Livonia United girls hockey won the Division II state championship. They got into the state championship with a triple overtime game, and they won in overtime. So we have students representing Franklin, Churchill, and Stevenson, and they will be coming to the April board meeting to be recognized. But another set of state champs, and boy, are we so proud of their season. Swim and dive all-state, we had a number of our students, and we shared this in the LPS link last week, and we'll also have it on our website so you can see the specific names. But we had a number of students making it to all-state. All-state is the top 8 in the state, which is a huge accomplishment. And we also want to congratulate Josh and Austin, our divers, I believe, at Churchill, also having an award-winning season, breaking school records, pool records, etc. So another sport that is extremely demanding, lots of early mornings and lots of dedicated practice. Basketball all-conference, we had many of our Stevenson basketball athletes have all-conference honors for both girls and boys basketball. In bowling state finals, we had a number of bowlers who participated in the MHSAA state finals. We want to congratulate Sophia at Churchill for her all-state performance. And I believe the young lady on the right, Dusty, isn't she a freshman? Freshman. Remind me of her name. Sophia. Did we have that wrong?
No, I think they're both Sophias.
They're both Sophias. Okay, because I knew we had a freshman at Franklin who was just a phenom in bowling, and we can't wait to see her continue. So it's one of the sports we've added most recently, although not, I guess that was probably 7 years ago by now. But boy, our LPS bowlers have just been working and finding a lot of success in that area. And gymnasts, all-state honors to Casey at Franklin, earning all-state honors on the beam, again, meaning top 8 in the state. And so we had a number of state qualifiers from all of our schools. And wrestling, we had, it's a big deal to get to this point, folks. We're kind of going through these, but I'll tell you what, whether it's an individual or a team, to make it to the state, to make it to states is a huge accomplishment. And so we had students from Franklin, Stevenson, and Churchill make it and punch their ticket to the state finals. Unfortunately, we did not have a state champ come out, but we have had in the past. And I'll tell you what, to earn a berth to the state championship and to be a finalist is a really big deal. So congratulations to these hardworking athletes and their coaches. And not just athletics, but MSBOA is the Michigan School Band and Orchestra Association. They have the opportunity to hear from both our middle school and our high school symphonic band and chamber orchestra. And so at Frost, both of those groups earned superior ratings at the most recent festival. So congratulations to Mr. Reyes, the director, as well as all of our talented musicians at Frost. And MSVMA, that's the choral festival. I'm sure many of you have heard Franklin Bell Canto Choir, really one of our favorite groups to hear. They had excellent first division rating at the recent choral festival. They earned the highest honor, and they have been invited to the state level festival to perform. And we had an opportunity to have the Franklin Bell Canto Choir not only do they come here each December, but they were most recently at our Founders Day celebration, and they did an absolutely beautiful job singing songs there to lead us off. Lots of Franklin tonight, which is perfect. So recently, the Franklin Players just performed Grease. I have to say that's just one of the favorites of folks to watch. And so whether they're cast who are on stage or all of the crew behind the stage, and it takes just about as many to do that as it does to be the on-stage talent. Congratulations on a great weekend of performances. I'm sure they had a good night's sleep finally the next night. And then we had we'll move on to the next slide, some global ed success. So global education is housed at Stevenson, and they go to a really challenging state championship, so to speak, called MAMON. It's the Model United Nations, Mid-American Model United Nations. And this year it was in Grand Rapids, and they took home a wide variety of honors at the closing ceremony. But one of our students took the highest honor of the entire MAMON 2026, and it's the Jonathan Perry Award, and that was Benny Benson. And we also want to congratulate the team of Global Ed from Stevenson because they were honored with the best prepared school in the state. So congratulations to our global education students. I will tell you, it is not for the faint of heart to participate in MAMON. You are representing a country, and you are participating as if you are part of the UN, and it is you have to be extraordinarily prepared to do this. So congratulations to Benny and to the entire Global Ed team and our amazing staff over there at Stevenson working on this. We have some students here, both from Stevenson, and I believe in the one picture on the left, we may also have a couple of Churchill students as well. But the Stevenson mock trial team went undefeated at regionals, which has never happened before. And so they were one of 5 teams to earn a bid to the state competition. And so the mock trial team, both at Stevenson and at Churchill, worked extraordinarily hard at regionals. And we want to congratulate them for their amazing outcome at states. I'm not sure if you've heard of the Sutton Foster nomination, but we had a couple of our Kappa students, Audrey and Lewis. They received the Sutton Foster Award nomination. One of them was SpongeBob, and the other one was Squidward. Isn't that kind of cool? Yeah. Love that. Because Kappa recently performed SpongeBob as the musical by Kappa and Churchill students. So this is quite a prestigious nomination. And they had wonderful performances, and we congratulate them on their nominations for this award. And wrapping it up in the next couple slides, Churchill DECA. Help me with the acronym, Mr. E2.
Distributed Education, something of America.
Okay, all right. These are our students who are generally part of the marketing and business classes at our high schools. And so here they were participating in the State Career Development Conference. And it is, first they have to go through regionals and then are able to move on to states. And then we have a number of students listed here who have also qualified for international competition. And so it's a tremendous amount of work to earn a berth to that point. And so we want to congratulate Anna, Ovia, Julian, Sanith, Alexander, and wish them luck at internationals.
Very good.
Our Livonia Warriors, they're our robotics team. This is a well-rounded group of kids, don't we?
Yes.
I mean, we have the most amazing students. They made it to the finals at the Woodhaven event. That was not this past weekend, but the weekend before. They won the Team Sustainability Award. And as you know, a tremendous amount of effort by our Livonia Warriors team that's made up of high schoolers from all 3 of our high schools who work tremendously hard. And States is coming up in
The last weekend of March, first weekend of April.
Yes, and that will be at Churchill High School. It is free to attend, and the opening ceremony is something to behold. So if you have an opportunity, we'll have all the information on our website and on our social media channels. Platforms. There you go. All right, just a couple more. We're going to mark our calendars for the Fine Arts Festival. We we couldn't miss our artists in the district, and they will be showing off. We love that the Livonia Library welcomes our display every April. And so our art teachers do an absolutely phenomenal job choosing pieces of student artwork from their student body at their school and puts them on display. And so we will be there for opening night on the 7th. But the cool thing is it will remain up throughout the month of April. Again, we're so appreciative to our partners at the Livonia Library who allow our student artwork to be on display. So if you can't make it that night, grab a coffee, wander through, and enjoy the artwork of our students. Kappa is putting on a spring play called Shakespeare in Love, so that's coming up in just a few weeks. It's so easy to get tickets. You scan the QR code and you can even pick your own seat. Robotics competition, that's what we just mentioned, so that will be coming up on April 3rd and 4th. It's free and there are matches throughout the day. All right, we're almost there, guys. Thanks for hanging with me. But here come the class of 2039. Here they come. And if you can believe it, we already have over 600 kindergartners registered for next year. So registration began on March 2nd, and we have over 600 kiddos already registered. We're anticipating several hundred more, and we have about 147 young fives already registered for next year. So thank you so much, President Burton. I know that was a long one, but I'll tell you, when you have such talented kids and amazing staff, this is what happens.
We're going to celebrate as many of them as we possibly can.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you. At this time, we are going to move on to item 3D, audience communications. I do have 3 folks who have indicated that they'd like to participate in audience communications. Audience communications is a time for the board to listen to comments from our community. It's as opposed to a question and answer session. We have 3 individuals who would like to talk to us about the youth summit that took place, I understand, just a couple of years ago, but they're going to give us a wrap up and some of the highlights, and I am sure that the folks who are in the room tonight will be interested to hear this. We are going to hear first, let me see here, we do have a 3-minute time limit per person on audience communication, so if you could honor that, I would appreciate that. Our first individual who's going to be addressing the board is Hunter Anderson. Hunter? All righty, I believe I've got, nope, okay, then we're going to switch those little blue slips around. Our first speaker will be Maureen Brosnan.
Welcome, Mayor.
Welcome. Good evening.
Can you tap make sure it's green?
You just give it a tap as opposed to a push. There you go.
There we go. Okay,
Now you're on.
Well, good evening, trustees. Good evening, Superintendent Oquist, and to all the families that are here. This is a really cool night to be here as the mayor of the city of Livonia. When I say I'm proud to do this job, this is a big part of why I'm proud to do it. So tonight, I get a chance to talk to you a little bit about the work of our Livonia Youth Commission. This is a group of young people that we've assembled in the community with the guidance of some of our more seasoned veterans in the community that are really working hard to make sure that we understand the youth agenda in Livonia. So back in 2024, we had met last 10 years ago, and we put together a Livonia Youth Summit. And we gathered students from all of our high schools in Livonia. At the time, we had Ladywood in addition to Livonia Public Schools and to Clarenceville Public Schools. And we invited all of them to come together for a day to share with us what their top priorities were. As a result of a lot of time and effort that went into that, we actually built a long and strong agenda for the city that included a lot of the work that we were doing last year around our Civic Center project. We brought together in 2024 students once again, and we asked them once again to help us to outline what is the agenda? What are the things that we as community leaders need to be focused on in order to prepare for the needs of the youth in our community? Now, we have always had a powerful call to action by young people in our community, and the outcome of our 2024 Youth Summit was no different. We're going to bring you the results of that summit today, but I think what's most important about it is that we want to tell you what we learned back in 2024 because we're gearing up to do it again in 2027. And a lot of the work that preempts that event comes out of a partnership with Livonia Public Schools as well as Clarenceville. We do a long survey, not a long survey, but an intent survey of all of the students to find out where those top level issues are. And then we come together with you, and you send in a number of experts that helped us as mentors and moderators for our sessions, gathering all of the thoughts and all of the information from our students so that we're able to put together this agenda, a youth agenda in our community. You are the last stop on our tour. We've been before the City Council with our agenda. We've been before the Clarenceville Public School Board of Trustees with the agenda. And tonight, we'll be here to tell you a little bit about what we learned in our one-day summit. So Hunter Anderson is one of the members of our commission, and Karen Bonanno actually leads this effort with Save Our Youth Task Force. I'm sure you're all familiar with the work that she's done. And they're going to share with you some of the outtakes from this year. So we really do appreciate your time and attention.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor.
Our next speaker will now be Hunter Anderson. Welcome, Hunter.
Thank you. I'm glad to see that we once again have our beautiful Michigan weather. I'm hoping to see that it's going to be 70 again tomorrow.
That would be lovely.
So my name is Hunter Anderson. I'm a representative of Madonna University, the Livonia Youth Commission, as well as a former member of the School of Global Education at Stevenson. And I would just like to highlight the mission of the Livonia Youth Commission, as well as some of the breakout topics that we had during our youth summit. The Youth Commission's main goal is to ensure that Livonia is committed to being the best that it can be for our youth and children through school and in the home. And our partnership with Livonia Public School goes a long way in ensuring that those goals are met. So, in 2023 and 2024, we conducted a survey amongst all 4 high schools in Livonia that asked them what the most pressing subjects they faced in their lives were. Now, some of the most pressing topics included stress and mental burnout, college and future planning, and the prevalence of substances in their schools. Now, I first want to highlight on the topic of mental wellness. Each topic, or each breakout group, came up with 3 main points that they had takeaways for, and the students themselves led discussions on these topics and provided what they believed to be solutions that were implementable by Livonia community leaders. Firstly, for the mental wellness breakout group, 3 of the main takeaways that students had were that teacher awareness of student mental health was very prevalent in going a long way to make sure that the mental wellness of students were observed and taken care of. Additionally, there was a disconnect between parents and students, and there's still quite a bit of work to be done in that category, as well as culture and climate in our schools. Now, I want to highlight on culture and climate in schools. Some of the main takeaways in that discussion from the students were that the school district and Clarenceville needed to foster a community which students did not feel afraid to go to their peers in terms of professing problems that they may have had, and that's partially where the culture of schools come from, a culture of acceptance for each other and a culture of upholding each other and support is what students believe would be one of the best solutions to this issue. Another next breakout group was college and future planning. Some of the primary takeaways were awareness regarding occupational programs and trades, as well as understanding of academic majors. I want to highlight on understanding of academic majors as a representative of Madonna University. There's been discussion about how to bridge the gap between high schoolers and colleges, and we would like to collaborate potentially in the future to ensure that high school students are made aware of paths that they may have following their graduation from high school. Third breakout group was physical health and nutrition. Some of the main topics in this group were physical barriers, including self-motivation and time constraints, nutritional barriers in school, as well as physical barriers, accessible, affordable, and physical activity options. Now, I would like to hand off our last topic as well as some other notes to the Livonia Save Our Youth Director, Karen Bonanno.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Karen Bonanno. Welcome, Karen. Nice having you this evening.
Thank you very much. I'm actually wearing 2 hats. I am the executive director of Livonia Save Our Youth Coalition, and it's my great honor to work in the buildings here in Livonia Public Schools. Also, I'm wearing the hat of the chair for the Youth Commission. However, I am speaking for a youth commissioner, Ovia Sankar, who was scheduled to speak tonight, but she was called away on one of her many other obligations.
She is very involved.
I am not quite as eloquent as she is, but I will try my best. The topic that I would like to bring forward was breakout group number 5 at the Youth Summit, and that was substance abuse and access. The students worked with community leaders regarding access to vaping and other drugs, vaping in schools, as well as weed, edibles, and alcohol. In each of the solutions, the students and the community leaders talked about creating a community of education and involving the parents more and working together to minimize access and availability, not only in the community but within the schools. Also to foster a stronger mentor-student relationship with designated access in the buildings to have private conversations, and to provide more anonymous reporting options. Also, in subsequent conversations among the Youth Commission regarding the summit, we talked a lot about students and how much time they actually spend in school, which is 7 hours per day, 5 times a week. The rest of the time, they're in our community. So the youth on the Youth Commission, as well as the rest of us, we came up with an ask of our community, and that is for you in this role as representatives of the school board, but also if you live in Livonia and work in Livonia, to think of ways that we can all link arms regarding these subjects and these solutions. How can we help the youth with these topics that they chose impact them regularly, not just in school, but in their day-to-day life? How can we link arms as a community to create solutions? To further this conversation, we've talked about having a subsequent youth summit in 2027. Details TBA.
Okay, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you to all three of you for coming out this evening and for sharing this important work. A lot of effort on a lot of those various topics that you brought forward tonight has been concerted effort of Livonia Public Schools. But as you said, Karen, it's an all hands on deck. It's a school district, it's a family, it's a community effort for adults and rather for students and adults in all these areas. I think we've come a long way toward in mental health care on the whole, and that touches many of the topics that you've covered tonight. But thank you for your effort in bringing this more jointly as a school and community activity. So thank you so much for sharing all the outcomes.
May I mention something just
Yes.
for a quick moment?
Miss, go ahead.
President Burton, thank you. I appreciate Mrs. Bonanno, you also being in touch with Mr. Etu as our main conduit to our high schools and our middle schools and our career center. I know he's looking forward to talking with you more in hearing from the results of the youth summit. And he certainly works very, very closely with our student assistance providers and our staff at the high schools, and I think would be just the right person to continue that conversation. I know how committed he is and all of you are to that. And Mayor, thank you so much for being here with us this evening, and we look forward to participating in the next upcoming summit. Thank you, Hunter.
We are now going to take a break for probably 5 to 10 minutes to congratulate our honorees and thank those for coming out this evening. And then we will continue on with the other business items on our agenda. So at the moment, we are at recess. Good evening and welcome back to the continuation of the Livonia Public Schools Board of Education meeting of March 23rd, 2026. If you are watching this meeting and you're just now jumping in, do yourself a favor and rewind to all the celebratory things that we just went through for the last hour or more. A lot of really fun things to celebrate in Livonia Public Schools. Right now we are on to item 4 of our agenda, and we are on to 4, which is the consent agenda. May I have a motion, please?
President Burton.
Mrs. Jarvis.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District approves the following consent agenda item as recommended by the superintendent. 5A, minutes of regular meeting of February 23rd, 2026.
Support.
We have a motion by Mrs. Jarvis, supported by Mrs. Bradford. Are there any, is there any board member who wishes to take this item off of the consent agenda in order to discuss it in detail? Nope. Alrighty, seeing none, we have a motion for the consent agenda by Mrs. Jarvis, supported by Mrs. Bradford. And Mrs. Acosta, would you please take the roll?
Mrs. Jarvis?
Yes.
Mrs. Bradford?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. McFarland?
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Burton?
Yes, and that motion passes. The next item on our agenda is item 6, business matters, and 6A is approval of LPS merchandise purchase. May I have a motion, please?
President Burton.
Mr. Johnson.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District approve the purchase of Livonia Public Schools merchandise from MBS Incorporated, South Lyon, Michigan, for an amount not to exceed $120,000.
Support.
We have a motion by Mr. Johnson, supported by Mrs. Jarvis. And we are going to hear from, hold on just a moment, please. Hear from Mrs. Smith on this item.
Thank you, President Burton. This is one of those fun purchases to bring before the board. Thank you for the opportunity to discuss this with you at both our study session and the committee of the whole meeting. As you recall, this is something that we've started a number of years ago in recognition of our staff and Teacher Appreciation Week, but we recognize all of our staff, not just our teachers. We are a large organization and take a lot of people to run this organization. So this is a partnership with MBS. They are a local company, and we've selected a few different pieces of apparel that staff will be able to go onto a website and select the style that they like, the color they like, the size they like, and this company will package it for us. They'll embroider it first and then package it and deliver it to each one of our locations. So they really make this a smooth process for us. They do a lot of the handling of it, reaching out to staff if there's any questions on the order, or if anything's backlogged, so that they can pick another item. So they've been a great company to work with, and I'm excited to bring this recommendation to the board tonight.
Thank you. I also noticed that it's a local company out of South Lyon, which is nice to give our business to our extended community.
Yep.
Are there comments or questions on this item? Seeing none, we have a motion by Mr. Johnson, supported by Mrs. Jarvis, for the approval of LPS merchandise purchase. Mrs. Acosta, would you take the roll?
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis?
Yes.
Mr. McFarland?
Yes.
Yes.
Mrs. Bradford?
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Burton?
Yes, and that motion passes. The next item on our agenda is item 6B, approval of purchase of LCTC furniture and equipment. May I have a motion, please?
President Burton.
Mrs. Bradford.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District approves the purchase of furniture and equipment for LCTC's Gaming, Design, Animation Classroom, Computer Repair Lab, and Engineering and Graphic Design programs for a total amount of $130,380.66. Purchases will be made from Interior Environments, Novi, Michigan, for $45,139.66. Advanced Technologies Consultants, Plymouth, Michigan, for $45,359. And Midwest Laser, Sylvania, Ohio, for $39,882.
Support.
We have a motion by Mrs. Bradford, supported by Mr. Johnson, and we will hear from Mr. Etu.
Thank you very much, everyone. And as was stated, we're looking to recommend 3 separate purchases for the Livonia Career Technical Center. This will be the last 2 classrooms that we're touching the last few years in terms of game design and animation. And then we are looking to do a laser, which is for engraving and cutting machine in our engineering and graphic design classes. And then lastly, we're bringing on a robot named Spark that has AI functionality for our engineering program as well. And as was stated earlier, the total for all 3 is $130,380.66.
And Mr. Etu, for the benefit of those who may be listening who may not know what 61A funds are, can you
Absolutely. So
explain that?
61A is a categorical fund for the state of Michigan. It's for CTE, or career technical education. It's added cost that can be used to the enhancement of our programs at our career center.
Okay, great. So this does not come out of our general fund. This is a grant from the state of Michigan.
Correct.
Terrific. Are there comments or questions from board members or the superintendent? Mrs. Bradford?
I just want to thank whoever is writing these grants for these items. They're awesome, and I'm really looking forward to visiting to see the, especially the robot Spark, to see how that goes. I would just like to see more programs like this, and this just enhances our program. So to all the grant writers, thank you very much.
We have any other comments or questions? Alrighty, we have a motion by Mrs. Bradford, supported by Mr. Johnson, for the approval of purchase of LCTC furniture and equipment. Mrs. Acosta, would you please take the roll?
Mrs. Bradford?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis?
Yes.
Mr. McFarland?
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Burton?
Yes, and that passes. The next item on our agenda is item 6C, approval of purchase of bus tablets and mounts. May I have a motion, please?
President Burton?
Mrs. Acosta.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public School District authorize the purchase of 13 tablets and 67 mounting systems from TransFinder, 440 State Street, Schenectady, New York, 12305, for a total cost of $46,337.
Support.
We have a motion by Mrs. Acosta, supported by Mrs. Bradford. And we will be hearing from Mr. Green on this item.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you, Ms. Acosta. Well done on pronouncing that city name. That was a tricky one. I'm glad you had to read that, not me. I wanted to thank the Board of Education for our discussions through our study session, and last week in our committee of the whole, we had Mr. Robert from our mechanic, one of our lead mechanics, and Ms. Semantic, our transportation supervisor, going over this purchase to complete our software package, so we could have our 12 active tablets. 13 more gets us to the 25 in our license. And then, as we spoke about last week, 67 mounts would get us our whole fleet having the mounting hardware, which would allow us to rotate those tablets for sub-drivers and contracted drivers. So we'd ask for your approval on that this evening, and that would be out of capital funds.
Are there comments or questions from the board or superintendent on this item? And just for the benefit of the public, we are into the section of our meeting right now where we have talked about these items and the next several at length in our previous 1 to 2 meetings. So if you'd like more details on these, please don't think that we are just spending this amount of money without thought or care or discussion. We have basically beaten them to death in our previous committee of the whole meeting. So if you're looking for details, questions and answers and so forth, rewind to the committee of the whole on our website, and you'll be able to get as much detail about these things as you'd like. We do have a motion right now from Mrs. Acosta, supported by Mrs. Bradford, for approval of purchase of bus tablets and mounts. Mrs. Acosta, would you take the roll?
Mrs. Bradford?
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mr. McFarland?
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Burton?
Yes, and that motion passes. The next item on our agenda is item 6D, approval of fleet replacement purchase. May I have a motion, please?
Oh, yes. Shoot, my apologies.
That's okay.
President Bradford.
Yeah.
No, Burton.
Yep.
President Burton, oh my
Pretty-
gosh.
pretty close.
I'm in last year.
That's okay.
Move that
Mr. McFarland.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District approve the purchase of Bluebird propane school buses from Holland Bus Company, Holland, Michigan, for a total cost of $982,511.
Support.
We have a motion by Mr. McFarland, supported by Mrs. Jarvis. And we're going to hear from Mr. Green.
Yes, thank you. Once again, I really wanted to thank Ms. Simonik and Mr. Robert last week for reviewing our entire fleet with you. You saw the bus fleet in its entirety from the diesel, gas, and propane breakdown. And these 7 purchases would enhance our propane inventory, and we would be taking those old models off the road, off to auction. And once again, thank you to the Finance Office, Ms. Williams, Ms. Smith, and others for securing a grant to offset some of the costs of this. So we'd ask for approval for these buses to continue to maintain what we all consider a great diverse fleet in our transportation department.
Thank you. Are there comments or questions on this item from the board or superintendent? Seeing none, we have a motion by Mr. McFarland, supported by Mrs. Jarvis, for the approval of fleet replacement purchase. And Mrs. Acosta, would you take the roll?
Mr. McFarland?
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yeah.
Mrs.
Yes.
Mrs. Bradford?
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Burton?
Yes, and that motion passes. The next item on our agenda is item 6E, approval of furniture purchase 2026 summer bond. May I have a motion, please?
President Burton.
Mr. Johnson.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District accept the recommendation from the owner's representative, Plant Moran Real Point, and approves the Phase 5 purchase of furniture for the library media centers and Idea Factory for Niji Iro and Webster Elementary Schools Elementary School from MBS Commercial Interiors, Troy, Michigan, in an amount not to exceed $434,000, which includes a 5% contingency.
Support.
We have a motion by Mr. Johnson, supported by Mrs. Bradford for this item, and now we will hear from Mr. Green.
For the record, there is no such thing as Webster Elementary Schools Elementary School, so my apologies. I'll make sure that is corrected and for you, so my apologies, Mr. Johnson. That is a continuation of our bond furniture for our final stage of this upcoming summer bond work at Niji Iro and Webster. And believe it or not, Webster's library is going offline this week, and we're going to start working on that next week on spring break. So we'd ask this to be approved so we can get ahead of our timelines for the final stages of furniture purchase, not only for our media centers in these buildings, but also our idea factories.
Thank
And
you,
that'll be
Mr.
out of
Green.
bond money.
Are there comments or questions from the board or superintendent? Mr. Green, we went over this in the meeting last week, but for those who may not have heard, the libraries may be going offline for this construction, but the librarians are and media specialists are still going to be teaching their classes, and our kids will still have access to their materials, just in
Yes.
different places and different settings throughout the building.
That is correct. Just like I said last week, when I went to Webster, actually today I was able to see the alternative location, and it looks like a mini library in a classroom already. Our media specialists just do a fantastic job setting up those areas to make sure that that programming continues, despite this short-term closure, for just a great benefit.
Great, thank you so much. Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, we have a motion for the approval of furniture purchase 2026 summer bond. Motion by Mr. Johnson, supported by Mrs. Bradford. And Mrs. Acosta, would you please take the roll?
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Bradford?
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis?
Yes.
Mr. McFarland?
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Burton?
Yes, that motion passes. The next item on our agenda is item 6F, approval of central office paving Phase 3 project. May I have a motion, please?
President Burton.
Mrs. Jarvis.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District approve the recommendation from the owner's representative, Plant Moran Real Point, to approve Nagel Paving Company located in Novi, Michigan, for the central office Phase 3 paving project in the total amount of $1,211,000, which includes contingency, and authorize the superintendent or her designee to negotiate and execute final contracts.
Support.
We have a motion by Mrs. Jarvis, supported by Mrs. Bradford, and we'll be hearing from Mr. Green on this item.
Hello again. This will be coming out of our sinking fund money, and we are really excited to continue our central office phasing. And we reviewed last week with you where the different parts of the central office complex will be impacted by this paving project, and we were quite happy with our big coverage on this and our final costs. So we're looking forward to starting this work, and the logistics have already been, as you mentioned, someone asked last week, months in the planning of how the logistics of this project will look for this upcoming summer.
Thank you. Are there comments or questions from the board or superintendent? This is one of those items that we have to specifically directly thank our community for supporting. This is coming out of our sinking fund, which our community supports for some of the big three, as we call them. It's been a bit expanded now, but typically roof, spoilers, and parking lots. These are very, very expensive items, but we have 23 schools and administration and other auxiliary buildings. To maintain these buildings and keep them in good condition takes a lot of money. Parking lots are something that's on an almost every year basis. It's on quite a rotating basis, because by the time you roll all these buses over these lots so regularly, they take a beating. So we thank our community for supporting the sinking fund for Livonia Public Schools, so that that sinking fund can pay for these big ticket items, and our education dollars that are coming from Lansing can be used directly inside our classrooms for our kids. We have a motion on, right now for approval of central office paving Phase 3 project. The motion is by Mrs. Jarvis and supported by Mrs. Bradford. Mrs. Acosta, would you please take the roll?
Mrs. Jarvis?
Yes.
Mrs. Bradford?
Yes.
Mr. McFarland?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Burton?
Yes, and that motion passes. The next item on our agenda is item 6G, approval of district-wide wireless access point replacement project. May I have a motion, please?
President Burton,
Mr. Johnson.
move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District approve the recommendation from the owner's representative, IDS, to purchase and install new wireless access points throughout the district from Sentinel Technologies, Livonia, Michigan, in the amount of $2,811,309.24, and authorize the superintendent or her designee to negotiate and execute final contracts on behalf of the Board of Education.
Support.
We have a motion by Mr. Johnson, supported by Mrs. Jarvis. And we are going to hear from Mr. Green on this topic.
Good evening once again. As you recall, we spoke how on our initial bond over 12 years ago, we started putting Wi-Fi access into our buildings, and it's time, end of life, to replace those. And so we're going to be doing that, and also expanding that Wi-Fi coverage in our buildings and other areas that weren't touched the last time. This is an E-rate reimbursable purchase, so the great news on this, while Bond 2021 is supporting this purchase, we will be receiving approximately $1.25 million back in E-rate reimbursement through this project, because that one of the two qualifying areas is Wi-Fi access. So very excited. As just like you said earlier with our paving projects, this is all part of our strategic planning as we look at our facilities. So hope for your support this evening on this. People love their Wi-Fi, as we talked about last week.
Oh, yes. Don't take away our Wi-Fi. Anywhere we all go. We have a motion right now. Let me back up. Are there any comments or questions from board members or the superintendent on this item? Alrighty, we have a motion for the approval of district-wide wireless access point replacement project. Motion is by Mr. Johnson, supported by Mrs. Jarvis, and Mrs. Acosta, would you please take the roll?
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis?
Yes.
Mr. McFarland?
Yes.
Mrs. Bradford?
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Burton?
Yes, and that motion passes. The next item on our agenda is item 6H, approval of change order number 2 technology bid. May I have a motion, please?
President Burton,
Mrs. Bradford.
move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District approve the change order for the technology bid number 2 in the new amount of $249,653.67, with Moss Audio Corporation, Detroit, Michigan, under the same terms and unit pricing established in the original RFP award.
Support.
We have a motion by Mrs. Bradford, supported by Mrs. Acosta, and we will hear from Mr. Green.
Hello again. As we spoke last week, when you see the words change order on here, there wasn't a difference in project scope as Ms. Oquist spoke to last week, but rather we were able to, with our third parties, IDS and Plant Moran, lock in pricing for our upcoming work this summer with technology that was fixed at last year's prices. So quite honestly, an example of having those advocates for us out in the field to lock in that unit pricing again for this summer. So we're asking for your approval, and that would be part of your attachment tonight, that Moss Audio has agreed to honor that previously approved unit pricing.
Thank you. And that's a big deal. When we can get prices to stay from one year to the next, that's a very, very good thing. Are there comments or questions from the board or superintendent? No. Seeing none, we have a motion for the approval of change order number 2, technology bid. Motion by Mrs. Bradford, supported by Mrs. Acosta. And Mrs. Acosta, would you take the roll?
Mrs. Bradford.
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. McFarland.
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Burton.
Yes, and that motion passes. The next motion, the next item on our agenda, rather, is item 6I, approval of purchase of plow gator. May I have a motion, please?
President Burton.
Mrs. Acosta.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District authorize the purchase of a gator equipped with a plow attachment from Deere & Company located in Cary, North Carolina, for a total cost of $36,381.12.
Support.
We have a motion by Mrs. Acosta, supported by Mrs. Jarvis. And we'll hear from Mr. Green.
I want everyone for the record to know, when I went to Webster Day for a project-based learning activity, it was snowing. So while I bring this to you tonight, we think spring is around the corner. But as we spoke about last week, and I really do appreciate the Board of Education's questions and follow-ups that we were able to have on some of this. But this is a gator with an attachment to allow us to get to the sidewalks that we're responsible for, that are city sidewalks. And this will help, as you saw in the memo last week, in our discussion last week, provide a cleaner sweep. It will be rotated around on our trailer, and it will also prevent damage to the other areas of those joining the sidewalks because of the ability to have that attachment on, as opposed to having our bigger trucks, and snow blowers aren't quite as efficient on those areas as well, and just take care of these jobs a lot quicker.
Thank you. Are there any comments or questions on this item? Seeing none, we have a motion for the approval of purchase of plow gator. The motion by Mrs. Acosta, supported by Mrs. Jarvis. And Mrs. Acosta, would you take the roll?
Mrs. Jarvis.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. McFarland.
Yes.
Mrs. Bradford.
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Burton.
Yes, and that motion passes. The next item on our agenda is item 6J, approval of purchase of Tomcat auto scrubber. May I have a motion, please?
President Burton.
Mr. Bradford, listen to me. Mr. McFarland. We are clipping right through these things, sometimes too fast. Mr. McFarland, sorry.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District authorizes the purchase of 10 Tomcat auto scrubbers from Coleman Wolf Supply, Roseville, Michigan. The per unit price for the Tomcat auto scrubbers is $9,711.59 for a total cost of $97,115.90.
Support.
We have a motion by Mr. McFarland, supported by Mrs. Bradford. You see if we can get all these names right. And we'll be hearing from Mr. Green on this tonight.
It's okay. March is reading month, and apparently it's Operation Month too. We appreciate everybody's patience on these items once again that we've discussed the last several meetings, and I really enjoyed our conversation about the purpose of these scrubbers, how we rotate them throughout our buildings, the various different kind of tools we do have at our different levels, from the chariots to these that can do some deeper cleaning. And so hopefully that information was helpful the last couple weeks, and we'd ask for your approval with the budget coming out of the 2021 bond.
Thank you. Are there comments or questions on this item? Seeing none, we have a motion for the approval of purchase of a Tomcat auto scrubber, and motion by Mr. McFarland, supported by Mrs. Bradford. Mrs. Acosta, would you take the roll?
Mr. McFarland,
Yes.
Mrs. Bradford,
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Burton.
Yes, and that motion passes. The next item on our agenda is item 6K, approval of sale of property. May I have a motion, please?
President Burton.
Mr. McFarland.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District approve the sale of property located at 37234 Joy Road, Livonia, Michigan, to the Sauve Oro Construction LLC, Livonia, Michigan, for a total price of $50,000.
Support.
We have a motion by Mr. McFarland, supported by Mrs. Jarvis, and we will hear from Mr. Green.
Okay, once again, thank you. As we had a couple study sessions and a committee of the whole to discuss this property, this single parcel property located near the Walgreens on the corner of Joy and Newburgh. And we had a pretty nice discussion about the use of it and the non-use of it in LPS's eyes. We would ask for your support for this purchase, as this would go back into our capital projects, Ms. Smith, which is greatly appreciated for land that we see no feasible future for.
Thank you. Are there comments or questions on this item? For any of the folks in the public who might not know what we're talking about, this is a very small piece of property between the Walgreens and kind of butting up behind Churchill High School that was initially, many, many years ago, intended to be a piece of property on which the Career Technical Center would be building a house. And many years back, we discontinued that version of our program, and instead our construction students work with the city of Livonia on repairing and rehabbing houses that have gone into foreclosure. Therefore, this piece of property is no longer needed by the school district. It is certainly not a piece of property that we're going to be using for any educational purpose, and once we have determined that, we have specific legal steps we need to go through in order to sell it. We determined quite a long time ago that the district is not a real estate holding company. So when we have property that we are absolutely certain has no current or future educational value, we certainly would like to sell that, use the proceeds for something we do need, and let that land be put to a more useful purpose. So that's what we have tonight before us. Are there any other comments or questions before us about this item? We have a motion then for the approval of sale of property. Motion by Mr. McFarland, supported by Mrs. Jarvis. And Mrs. Acosta, would you please take the roll?
Mr. McFarland,
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis,
Yes.
Mrs. Bradford,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Burton.
Yes, and that motion passes. The next item on our agenda is item 8, instruction matters. And 8A is,
Seven.
I'm sorry, 7 instruction matters. 7A is the approval of Stevenson High School Spain field trip. May I have a motion, please?
President Burton.
Mrs. Jarvis.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District approve the International Spain field trip for global education students at Stevenson High School.
Support.
We have a motion by Mrs. Jarvis, supported by Mr. Johnson. And we're going to be hearing from Mr. Etu on this.
Good evening, everyone.
Good
I hear
evening.
March is reading month, so we'll go ahead and move forward with this. This is the Spain field trip for our global education students. We just celebrated them earlier in the superintendent's update, and this trip is looking to take place from March 25th to April 4th. It's through EF Educational Tours, and some of the highlights is Barcelona, Valencia, Granada, and Madrid. And again, they also do a global travel protection plan for each of the students when they're on that trip. It's about a 10-day trip over spring break.
Okay, great. Comments or questions on this item? Mr. McFarland.
I just want to say, as a former proud, well, I guess current Globey alum, former Globey, these trips are fantastic, and I'm really glad that they're still going on, and that we have a staff and parent chaperones that are willing to do it, because they are a phenomenal experience for the kids that elect to do it.
Terrific. Other comments or questions? Just an FYI also, this is paid for entirely by students and their families. There are no school district funds being used for this purpose.
That's correct.
Any other comments or questions? Seeing none, we have a motion for the approval of Stevenson High School Spain field trip. Motion by Mrs. Jarvis, supported by Mr. Johnson. And Mrs. Acosta, would you take the roll, please?
Mrs. Jarvis?
C, yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Bradford?
Yes.
Mr. McFarland?
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says C. Yes. President Burton?
Yes, and that motion passes. The next item on our agenda is item 7B, consider expulsion of secondary student. May I have a motion, please?
President Burton.
Mrs. Bradford.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District expel one secondary student for violations of the Livonia Public Schools Board of Education policies.
Support.
We have a motion by Mrs. Bradford, supported by Mr. McFarland, and we will hear from Mr. Etu.
Thank you again. Yes, this is a motion to approve the hearing decision of the hearing officer back in mid-February regarding a student and a recommendation for expulsion that would be through the entirety of first semester of next school year.
Thank you. Are there comments or questions on this item? The board, tonight was an appeal hearing held for the secondary student. The board heard the documentation of the incident in question. Board members, do you feel like you have the information needed to go forward on this issue?
Yes.
We have the motion by Mrs. Bradford, supported by Mr. McFarland. And Mrs. Acosta, would you please take the roll?
Mrs. Bradford?
Yes.
Mr. McFarland?
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Burton?
Yes. And that motion passes. The next item on our agenda is 8 personnel matters, and 8A is teachers for approval. May I have a motion, please?
President Burton,
Mr. Johnson.
move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District accept the recommendation of the superintendent and offer employment for the 2025-26 school year to the teacher listed on the attached document.
Support.
We have a motion for teachers for approval. The motion by Mr. Johnson, supported by Mrs. Jarvis. And we are going to hear from, I believe, Mr. Grizek. Is that correct?
Yep.
Mr.
Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
The prospective new staff member we're presenting to the board this evening has been selected to fill a need in one of our K-4 resource rooms. This candidate is well qualified to fill this position and has been fully vetted through our extensive interview process. We are confident she will perform at a high level and represent Livonia Public Schools in a manner that is consistent with our shared vision and collective commitments. We are pleased to recommend this talented teacher to join our LPS family with your approval.
Thank you. Do we have comments or questions from the board members or superintendent? Welcome to Livonia Public Schools. We find it a wonderful place to be. We have a motion by Mr. Johnson, supported by Mrs. Jarvis, for teachers for approval. Mrs. Acosta, would you please take the roll?
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis?
Yes.
Mrs. Bradford?
Yes.
Mr. McFarland?
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Burton?
Yes, and that motion passes. The next item on our agenda is 8B, teachers for tenure. May I have a motion, please?
President Burton.
Mrs. Bradford.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District accept the recommendation of the superintendent and acknowledge that tenure status has been granted to the following teachers, effective on the respective date. Jennifer Cronin, March 3rd, 2026. Jessica Seacott, March 4th, 2026. Sarah Domingo, March 10th, 2026.
Support.
We have a motion by Mrs. Bradford, supported by Mr. Johnson, for teachers for tenure. And Mr. Francis, I do apologize. You gave me a list of who was taking care of each one of these items, and it has disappeared from in front of me. So
It's every
I
other.
believe it's Mr. Francis.
It is. We're going to go every other. Thank you, President Burton. Our teachers for tenure on this agenda have successfully completed the district's requirements for probationary teachers, including years of service, evaluations, overall performance, and documentation of student growth. We've carefully reviewed all supporting materials along with the recommendations of our building administration and have verified that these educators should be granted tenure status with the Livonia Public Schools. We wish to congratulate these staff members for reaching this milestone, and we look forward to their continued success working in Livonia Public Schools.
Thank you. Are there comments or questions on the teachers for tenure? Mr. McFarland?
I did want to say congratulations to all of them, and especially to my good friend Sarah Domingo. I think that's fantastic.
Very good. Thank you. Other comments or questions? This is not a small accomplishment, and it lasts for a very long time, so congratulations to these three fine young ladies. We have a motion for teachers for tenure, the motion by Mrs. Bradford, supported by, I can't read my own writing.
Mr. Johnson.
Mr. Johnson, thank you, that's what that does say. Supported by Mr. Johnson. Mrs. Acosta, would you please take the roll?
Mrs. Bradford,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis,
Yes.
Mr. McFarland,
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Burton.
Yes, and that motion passes. The next item on our agenda is item 8C, leaves of absence. May I have a motion, please?
President Burton.
Mrs. Jarvis.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District accept the recommendation of the superintendent and approve the request for a leave of absence as listed below. Samantha Shoemake for the 26-27 school year.
Support.
We have a motion by Mrs. Jarvis, supported by Mrs. Acosta. And we will hear from Mr. Grisak, I believe.
Hello again.
Hello.
The staff member listed on your board document is requesting leave from Livonia Public Schools for the 2026-27 school year. The request is in accordance with the collective bargaining agreement for her bargaining unit, and I ask that you please consider approval of her leave time.
Thank you. Are there comments or questions on this item? Seeing none, we will, we have a motion for leaves of absence, rather. Motion by Mrs. Jarvis, supported by Mrs. Acosta. Mrs. Acosta, would you please take the roll?
Mrs. Jarvis,
Yes.
Mr. Johnson,
Yes.
Mr. McFarland,
Yes.
Mrs. Bradford,
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Burton.
Yes, and that motion passes. The next item on our agenda is item 8D, resignations, which does not require a board vote. That's just for board information purposes. The next item is going to be 8E, retirements. May I have a motion, please?
President Burton.
Take a deep breath. It's a long list.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District adopt the attached resolutions of appreciation for services rendered by Mona Bejun, Jan Bice, Carrie Budai, Joanne Carroll, Dennis Chapman, Judith Christie, Linda Cohen, Kimberly Kalaisi, Colleen Cower, James Elder, Paul Fairbrother, Dennis Garathi, Colleen Hutchinson, Jennifer Knopf, Catherine Michelson, Matthew Otto, Michelle Richmond, Leah Smith, Barbara Spencer, Michelle Tandries, Robert Upton.
Support.
We have a motion for retirements, motion by Mrs. Acosta, supported by Mrs. Bradford. And we will hear from Mr. Francis.
Thank you very much. And here we go, everybody. We have a big one this evening. Tonight, we're honoring and congratulating 21 members of our LPS family who are retiring from their positions with Livonia Public Schools. As these staff members leave the district, they take with them a combined total of 588.7 years of experience.
Wow.
On behalf of the administration, I would like to thank our retirees for their dedicated years of service they've provided the students of LPS, and as we ask the board to please adopt their attached resolutions of appreciation. And we want to thank them, of course, for their many years of service.
Are there comments or questions from board members? Mrs. Bradford?
Well, there's quite a few on here that I'm very familiar with, and I guess they have served well and many long years and great years for our district. I just want to congratulate all the people on this list. They do take a lot of great experience with them, and they will be very missed by the district, but I do wish them just all my best as they move on to the next chapter of their lives. There's some really, all our teachers are great. There's some really good people on here, so I wish them all the best.
Thank you, Mrs. Bradford. Well said. Mrs. Acosta.
I just want to say, as I was reading the names, it just brought back like every instance that my family was impacted by a lot of the staff listed here, and just how much of an impact that they have and they don't know, not just on my sons individually, but us as a family, knowing that they were in their hands receiving care. So thank you and enjoy your retirement.
Mrs. Acosta. Mrs. Opus.
Thank you so much, President Burton. We do want to extend a huge congratulations to this folks on this list. We have one secretary, two paraprofessionals, one administrator, and many educators. There is a lot of heart and soul and experience concluding their careers with us. You see many of these folks have received their 30-year awards and beyond. And even those who have been here maybe only a decade up until 3 or 4, just a tremendous amount of appreciation for the number of folks on this list who have made their career and their life's work here in Livonia Public Schools, and we're so grateful for that.
Thank you. I cannot speak any higher than those two ladies have. Thank you so much for all of your service. This is one of the difficult things that we have to vote on. We wish you well, and yet we wish we could vote no and keep you around for at the same time, and it just doesn't work like that. We have a motion for retirements, motion by Mrs. Acosta, supported by Mrs. Bradford. Mrs. Acosta, would you please take the roll?
Mrs. Bradford.
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis.
Yes.
Mr. Johnson.
Yes.
Mr. McFarland.
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Burton.
Yes, and that motion passes. The next item on our agenda is item 9, hearing from board members, and 9A is a change to April board meeting schedule. May I have a motion, please?
President Burton.
Mrs. Bradford.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District amend the 2025-2026 board meeting schedule by advancing all meetings in the April meeting cycle by 1 week as follows. The study session originally scheduled for 5:30 p.m. April 13th, 2026 will be held at 5:30 p.m. April 6th, 2026. The committee of the whole meeting, originally scheduled for 6:30 p.m. April 20th, 2026, will be held at 6:30 p.m. April 13th, 2026. The regular meeting, originally scheduled at 6:30 p.m. April 27th, 2026, will now be held at 6:30 p.m. on April 20th, 2026.
Support.
We have a motion for change of April board meeting schedule, motion by Mrs. Bradford, supported by Mr. Johnson. And we'll hear from Mrs. Opus.
Thank you so much, President Burton. So the only, just for clarification, the only meeting that actually has to be voted upon is a change in a regular meeting.
Oh.
So we are meeting the April 20th instead of April 27th. I appreciate the board's willingness to change because of a conflict on a number of cabinet members' parts, but that will also then have an impact on the study session and committee of the whole date. I will also mention that for your information as well as the audience, that our study session for April was originally planned for Johnson Elementary as our host. We are going to move them until May, since April 6th is the day right after spring break. It doesn't give them quite the time to just settle back in, and and prepare for us to be there that evening. And so we will move that schedule to May, and we will hold our April 6th study session here along with these other two meetings. So I appreciate the willingness of President Burton and the board to make this change.
Any comments or questions on this item? Alrighty, seeing none, we have a motion for the change to April board meeting schedule. Motion by Mrs. Bradford, supported by Mr. Johnson. And Mrs. Acosta, would you please take the roll?
Mrs. Bradford?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis?
Yes.
Mr. McFarland?
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Burton?
Yes, and that motion passes. The next item on our agenda is item 9B, second reading bylaws of the board, BHA, Code of Ethics. May I have a motion, please?
President Burton.
Mr. McFarland.
Move that the Board of Education of the Livonia Public Schools School District accept the recommendation of the Board Policy Committee and adopt board policy language per the attached document for the following: Board Bylaw BHA Code of Ethics.
Support.
We have a motion by Mr. McFarland, supported by Mrs. Jarvis, and we will hear from Mrs. Oldquist on that.
Thank you so much, President Burton. As you know, the Board of Education takes very seriously bylaw BHA, their Code of Ethics. The Code of Ethics is evident as our board works from week to week and month to month to lead our school district. We have this evening, thanks to Mrs. Junta, a very large copy of the Code of Ethics to our right. And so when the meeting is concluded, we would invite members of our board, as has been your practice, to show your support for this important document and the contents within by signing the Code of Ethics. And we'll invite, obviously, Mrs. Frank to do so when she returns, and then that will replace the framed copy that is currently to your left in the board room.
Thank you. Are there comments or questions from board members? Mr. Johnson.
Thank you, President Burton. I just want to thank my colleagues for taking the time to review this document. I think it's, we all find it to be extremely important to guide us in our jobs. And going through it, it's amazing to me that from year to year, we find little things to tweak on it, which I think is outstanding, because we're never satisfied with what's on there. We're always thinking ahead. We're always thinking a little bit differently. So I appreciate it, and I want to thank my colleagues for all the work we put in on this.
Thank you. Comments from other board members? I echo your thoughts, Mr. Johnson. This document was at one point 13, 14 pages long several years ago, and we boiled it down and said, okay, this is grown with good intentions, but it grew unwieldy. We boiled it down and took very serious time and effort to bring it into the document that it is now. And I'm very proud that our board members all sign and abide by this very important document. So thank you also. We have a motion for second reading bylaws of the board BHA Code of Ethics. Motion by Mr. McFarland, supported by Mrs. Jarvis. And Mrs. Acosta, would you take the roll?
Mr. McFarland?
Yes.
Mrs. Jarvis?
Yes.
Mrs. Bradford?
Yes.
Mr. Johnson?
Yes.
Mrs. Acosta says yes. President Burton?
Yes, and that motion passes. The next item on our agenda is item 9C, first reading board policy IDCA, summer school program. And we're going to hear from Mr. Etu on this.
Thank you again, everyone. Yes, this is Board Policy IDCA, Instructional Program Summer School Program. We had an opportunity to discuss it a little while ago, but if you'd like, I'd do the first reading now. Summer school programs which comply with state and accrediting agency requirements may be offered in accordance with students' needs and interests. The Division of Instruction team will determine appropriate summer school programs with approval by the superintendent. Tuition may be charged as approved by the superintendent and/or designee.
Thank you. Are there comments or questions on this item? And this is one that we discussed at length in our study session prior to this, and committee of the whole meeting prior to this meeting. Alrighty, Mrs. Acosta, would you please put this on the agenda for next general meeting for a vote? The next item on our agenda is item 9D, first reading board policy JBD, homeless students. And we are going to be hearing from Mr. Itu, I believe.
Mr. Francis.
I'm sorry, Mr. Francis.
Good evening. Board policy JBD is titled Homeless Students under the caption of students. And we did make some changes to this, added just a couple of minor items to bring it up to date from its previous original writing. So I'm going to read through it for the board, and if you have questions, just let me know. The Board of Education of Livonia Public Schools is committed to ensuring that students experiencing homelessness have equal access to the same free and appropriate public education as all other students. Students who meet the definition of homeless children and youths under the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act will not be stigmatized or segregated on the basis of their status as homeless. Eligible students will be provided services and may participate in programs comparable to other students in the district. Board policy, administrative guidelines, and practices will not be interpreted or applied in such a way as to inhibit the enrollment, attendance, participation, or school success of eligible students. The superintendent will appoint a liaison for homeless children who will perform the duties as assigned by the superintendent. Additionally, the liaison will coordinate and collaborate with the state coordinator for the education of homeless children and youth, as well as with community and school personnel responsible for the provision of education and related services to eligible homeless children and youth. And we have the legal reference at the bottom, which is just referencing the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act.
Thank you. Mr. Francis, can you reread for me into the record the line halfway through the first paragraph, right underneath the red section, the next full sentence starting with students eligible under? I think we might have missed a phrase in there.
Students eligible.
Students under, I think we missed the under.
Students eligible under the McKinney-Vento Homeless Assistance Act will be provided services and may participate in programs comparable to other students in the district. Board policy, administrative guidelines, and practices will not be interpreted or applied in such a way as to inhibit the enrollment, attendance, participation, or school success of eligible students.
Terrific, thank you. I want to make sure your version was the same as our version, because what we read verbally is what goes into the record. So, okay, are there comments or questions on this item by board members or the superintendent? No. Alrighty, thank you for updating this for us. And this, Mrs. Acosta, would you please put this on the agenda for our next general meeting for a vote?
Yes.
All right. Our next item is 9E, first reading board policy KM, visits to schools. And we're going to hear, sorry, hold on a moment, let's see.
Mrs. Jenkins.
Mrs. Jenkins, we'll hear from Mrs. Jenkins on this item.
Thank you, President Burton. Board policy KM is entitled General Public Relations Visits to Schools. I'd like to thank the board for your consideration and the edits that we went through during the study session and the committee of the whole. So before you this evening, we have incorporated those suggested edits, and if you wouldn't mind, I'll read through what we ended up with.
Please do.
Parents, guardians, and other visitors having legitimate business to conduct are welcome in our schools. For the health, safety, and welfare of the students and staff, all visitors shall remain in the secured vestibule and follow the security protocols in order to gain access into the main office for visitation approval. Visits to classrooms by parents, guardians, and other citizens must have approval of the building principal and/or administrator, be arranged in advance, and not disrupt the educational process. Visitors from other school districts must make appropriate arrangements in advance through the office of the superintendent or his or her designee.
Thank you. And thank you to we had a lot of discussion about this one and semantics and making sure that it flowed properly and that it was in logical order. So thank you for the work you've done on this one.
Sure.
Are there comments or questions on this item? No. All right, Mrs. Acosta, would you please put this on the agenda for a vote at the next general meeting? Bear with me for a moment here. The next item on our agenda is 9F, first reading board policy KMA, unauthorized persons on school property. And we'll hear from Mrs. Jenkins.
Yes, thank you again, President Burton. And thank you again to the board for your consideration and thoughtful edits during our study session and committee of the whole meetings. Policy KMA is also under the general public relations section of board policy entitled Unauthorized Persons on School Property. And I will go ahead and read what we ended up with as far as the edits. For the protection and safety of students and staff, the protection of school property, and the general necessity of the efficient administration of school buildings, no person shall loiter on school grounds or in any school building. Students who are under suspension or have been expelled from school are not allowed on school property in any school building and shall not be admitted to any school activity or event. If a student is serving in school suspension, the student is not allowed on school property outside of the normal school day hours. Any person, I'd like to change that to person or persons with a parentheses around the S, if I may.
Sure.
Yep.
Any person or person causing any disturbance to school programs or school activities shall be directed by the building administration to leave the school property immediately. If a person refuses to leave, he or she shall be considered to be trespassing, and the police shall be called. And then we fixed, kind of tidied up the legal references to include the MCL 3080.1808 is actually the revised school code in the Michigan compiled laws. So we just added that in parentheses so that people would be aware of what that MCL was. And the City of Livonia's ordinances, all that were referenced in the exhibit, were all under the Title IX, Chapter 9 section of Livonia's ordinances. So we double-checked those so that people would be able to find them in the huge code of ordinances for the city.
Thank you for doing that.
Sure.
That was probably not a quick find, but we want to make sure it is a quick find for our folks who are looking for it. Are there comments or questions on this item by the board or superintendent? Nope. All righty. Mrs. Acosta, would you please put this on the agenda for the next general meeting for a vote? All righty. We have come to hearing from board members on our agenda, which is item 9G. Do we have any board members who have anything that they would like to share this evening? Mrs. Jarvis.
Thank you, President Burton. We talked earlier about the upcoming robotics competition, which will be held at Churchill High School April 3rd and 4th. And I'd like to remind everyone that this event is open to the public and it is free. It's a lot of fun. I would like to extend a personal invitation to the families of students who are involved in our elementary robotics programs, our first Lego League families. Please plan on coming and bring your kids so that they can see what lies in their future as they continue to progress through the levels of the robotics, the first robotics program. It's an exciting opportunity for the kids to see how the big kids play.
Very good idea. Mrs. Bradford.
I was just thinking, this is the last week before we will be embarking on our spring break. And just thinking how quickly after we come back the school year goes. But I just want to wish everybody and all our families, students, and staff a really wonderful and safe spring break. I know many people may be traveling, so just be careful out there. And I hope that everybody enjoys their time off. And I hope our weather gets a little better for everybody who's staying up here in Michigan. If you're heading south, I hope your weather's warm too, but I hope we get some warm weather also.
Sounds good. Comments from other board members? Mr. Johnson?
Thank you, President Burton. As everyone knows, March is Reading Month. And I've been into a lot of schools to read. I know I've seen President Burton. We've crossed some paths in some of the schools. And I just want to thank the Livonia Police Department because they have donated so many new books. I had a nice conversation with a couple of the officers, and they are brand new books. There is Dr. Seuss, there is Fried Green Tomatoes, and a couple of others that the kids are able to take. So I just wanted to give a shout out to them and thank them for the books that they've put into our schools and given to our kids to read.
I was there on one of the days they were passing those out. I think we must have been in the same building at the same time, and I was able to ask them where the funding came for this. And it was a grant for community outreach. So what a great way to reach out to the community than reach out to our kiddos. So I thought it was really cool. More grant money, which is wonderful. We'll take it. And again, as it was said earlier, thank you to the folks in our community who put forth a lot of time and effort to write those grants. That's not an easy thing. So, any other board members have anything to share tonight? Seeing none, we'll move on to the next item on our agenda, which is adjournment, item number 10. We wish you all a wonderful evening, and we are now adjourned.